Grand Rising, great people. Keely Worthy here, sitting in the Aunt Couture. I'm going to call this the Aunt Couture Lab or the Aunt Couture Kitchen, where I'm typically cooking things up, cooking up designs, cooking up ideas as it relates to our brand. Now, here we are in January of 2024. As you guys know, late November, is when I kind of birthed the idea for Aunt Couture. Early December, started getting some of our business stuff together in terms of the formation of the LLC and the business account. I also in that time really started dabbling in the design to see what I could do. It's like I started dabbling in the design and then I made the decision, okay, we can go ahead and do something like this. Using AI to create designs sounds super simple. It sounds super simple in theory, and it is in that if you're not somebody that's using their hand to draw things, you have the ability to speak to DALL-E or ChatGPT and ask it to create images for you, right? The challenge comes in with, does the image that you're creating actually fit the vision that you have in your head? And if the answer to that question is no, then that's where you have to get into the process of, redirecting DALL-E, adjusting your prompts, saying different things to change, like I said, eyeglass colors or shades of hair or sizes of the image that it's created for you, or adding jewelry, adding verbiage to what you want. So it can become a very intricate process. So for me, I decided that I would have about 9 designs to launch the Aunt Couture bag brand, and that's what I did. Now, 8 out of 9 of the designs I came up with on my own. One of them I found and fell in love with when I saw the piece of art. So I said, okay, I just absolutely love this design. And because I loved it and bought the commercial property used to it, right, then I decided to use it on a bag, right? And that is this one right here. This is one of my favorite designs. I just love the face of this woman and how it combines with the continent of Africa. Again, you guys know I'm super, I'm a Pan-Africanist. Let's just call it what it is. I love, designing with the idea of the African diaspora in mind. So that's what I do, right? So again, when I saw that, that was actually the first design that made me think, okay, you can do this. Then I was like, well, I don't want to buy a bunch of other people's designs because I don't want to see them everywhere. I can create my own designs. So I started dibbling and dabbling in the world of design, coming up with different things. Now, at the same time that I was dabbling and dibbling in the design, because again, remember, we're just in January, so this is a very new thing, I started looking for suppliers. The bag that I just showed you was actually the first bag that I had created. It's like the first sample. And this bag was interesting because not only is it a tote, right, but it also can be worn as a crossbody, and I could have made it a little smaller. I chose not to because I was sampling and still trying to figure out how I wanted to do things. But it also has some straps as a backpack, right? So you can literally put the straps on the bag where these hooks are. There's some hooks right here. Hooks that you can put the straps on and you can wear it as a backpack. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I can make this like a 3-in-1 bag that somebody can put on. It's going to be fantastic. Well, I opted not to go that particular route because that was going to require me to carry a bunch of inventory. And if you guys have heard my story at all, one thing I don't want to do is carry a bunch of inventory. I started Aunt Couture not only to be a memory restoration advocate, but to also create a lifestyle. I want to go against the grain that says, okay, well, if you're doing something like purses, you need to have a brick and mortar location and you need to be in Saks and Macy's and yada, yada, yada. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going completely against the grind. We are using Shopify, and I again have found some suppliers that allow me to produce very high quality bags, handmade at the time of order, that are leather, vegan leather, and a sateen. Okay, a sateen. So there are different types of material that you have the ability to get, because I want to create a brand that's going to allow me to have some freedom and flexibility. I don't want to be tied to a store or anything like that. So needless to say, I found some suppliers that were allowing me to do what I just shared with you, right? I can print on demand on the bags and still get the high quality that I'm looking for, but have a variety of prices. Meanwhile, in the midst of design, this website situation, entrepreneurs, let me just say this to you. This website situation is where we are experiencing some challenges right now. Yes, I created social media accounts for Instagram and Facebook and even YouTube, obviously, but the website has been a pain point for sure. You have your idea about your website and what you want to create. I am not a web designer. I do know some basic things when you're, creating a site like a Shopify. If you have a simple selection of items, you can put some product descriptions in there. You can move some stuff around to make it look, somewhat pleasant. But as the store grows and new things happen, you are really going to need somebody to make that thing look good for your customers and be pleasing. So we launched on Martin Luther King's birthday on the 15th. And I had a store that looked okay, right? It wasn't the most phenomenal thing, but it was a good place I felt for us to start. I made the decision though that I wanted to add some things that were complementary to the bags. So I also designed some earrings and some wallets. And once that happened, shenanigans were everywhere. So the web designer that I had at the time was not able to fulfill the vision that I had in my head of what I wanted to see. As a result, I had to get a new web designer. Now, mind you, we've only been live for a second, right? It's still January now. We launched like 10 days ago, and I'm already in the midst of redesign with my website. And it's it's crazy. So I have a designer in there now who is making some changes based on what my vision is. And I'm seeing some good things happen. I'm seeing some shenanigans in there as well. So obviously, since we're still new, it's okay for some of these things to be happening in the meantime. It's not like thousands and thousands of people are visiting the site right now and being deterred and turned away, but it's a little unnerving. I don't want to take the site down because it was already up. The changes are being made fairly quickly. Meanwhile, I have an ad agency in the background that's like, all right, Akili, we want to go ahead and do this. We want to prepare for the ads to start running on Facebook. And I'm like, no, we have to hold off on the ads. Let me just make sure everything is good with what's happening in the site right now. So things are shifting and moving, as we speak. I'm so glad that it's happening earlier and not later, but I wanted to make this video while this process was fresh in my mind. A lot has happened between the end of November and January. This has literally gone from an idea to something that I put into motion very quickly because I felt so strongly about filling a need in the marketplace. Not only am I a Black woman that's creating a bag brand, which we see that there are quite a few Black-owned bag brands, burgeoning and popping up everywhere, which I love. But I'm also, again, focused on some more of the comedic elements, the mystical elements, and really want this to expand beyond what's happening in the world of just bags. I don't know everything I want Aunt Couture to get into or Aunt Couture to touch. But again, I feel like I am a memory restoration advocate. And when I say that, I really want us to remember who we are. And I like to use the verbiage as it was, as it is, and again shall be. I am definitely all about the elevation of those of us who feel like we want to be elevated. So I guess that's what I'll say. But my point is, the process has been arduous. My goal with my YouTube videos was to kind of take you guys through all of the pieces of the puzzle, all of the processes, but I want to make sure you can see some of the annoying aspects of it, not just a bunch of stuff that's like, oh, this is great and this is fantastic and this is fabulous. in the process, I've sold one of my favorite bags, right? Somebody has come through the website, but again, we've had to kind of push things back just a little bit to make sure the presentation is right and everything else makes sense for me on the back end. So there are going to be some adjustments still in the process of being made, and then Facebook ads and potentially Instagram ads will hit the scene here in just a moment. I'm assuming and hoping that in the next couple of days the site will be complete. That is what the discussion has been, and then the Facebook ad process can actually begin. But it's been a process. Like I said, just make sure as you move into this world, you just keep remembering exactly why you're doing it. I'm not stopping by no means. I'm not tired. I'm just a little irritated right now. That's all. But again, that's just part of the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. So if you have any questions, about, what I've done or what's happening or what's going on, by all means, ask them. I feel like I heard C. Renee Mangum say this when I was just at her branding brunch. There is enough air out there for all of us to breathe. So there's no reason for me to try to not help you or not provide you insight where I can. There's enough air out there for everybody. So I promise the next video that I do, because I don't want to make these super long, will be about the suppliers and the more information about the bags and the earrings and the wallets and all of that good stuff, for sure. But until then, entrepreneurs out there, focus. Don't let things deter you. Pivot based on where you need to make pivots. Don't stop your journey. You just need to course correct. And also don't allow the daunting idea of what you want your vision to be long term. Don't allow that to deter you. Don't allow that to be the thing that makes you choose not to get started. You have the ability to do way more than you think that you're able to do. Okay. Ashe.